Hi everyone, and welcome to my fantasy journey, where I do opinion-based fantasy book reviews. So today I'm going to be talking about a book that is so special to me, a book that I think I could call definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It is a book that captivated me from the moment I started reading it. And it's a book that I feel like it's timeless. That I'm pretty sure is a classic, consider a classic by a lot of people, and maybe a lot of you know it. And it's just an absolutely gorgeous book. And that book is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Oh my god. Now, I don't know where to start about this book. Well, let's start by saying a little bit what it's about, just a general, little not summary, but just tell you a little bit what it's about. So this book is basically about a unicorn who lives in a lilac wood, who lives in the woods, and she lives like with animals and everything. She lives in her own woods, so to say. But then there comes one day when she overhears some men talking about her people, about the unicorns. And while she's hearing this conversation, she notices, or at least she feels, that she's alone. And she starts to wonder, where are the other unicorns in the world? Am I the only one? Um, and so she starts wondering, and she's insecure if she should leave her forest or not, if she should leave the woods. But in the end, she decides to embark on a journey to find her people, to find her kin, and aka the unicorns of the world. So that's all I'm going to tell you, because I don't want to go too much into detail or spoil anything, and it just won't be as fun. So what do I like about this book? Everything. And I know I sound kind of like a fanboy, but I just like everything, to be honest. Everything. First of all, the world building. This is something that's very important to me on books. The world building, the atmosphere that the book transmits, the way it feels. Because I'm a very, I sense a lot. I don't know. I'm a very like I don't know how to explain it, but I love. For me, the atmosphere in a book is really important, and the world building. Because I like to explore on the book. I don't like to feel stuck or anything. And this book is perfect on the world building, and it's simply gorgeous. It's just incredible. Second of all, this is not in a specific order. I'm just saying the things that I like. Second of all, well, besides everything, second, the writing in this book. The writing is incredible. Peter S. Beagle did an amazing job. It's so poetic and so beautifully written. So not only is the story amazing, but the writing is amazing too, and that is obviously something very important, very very important. I've come across a lot of books that sometimes, like the premises sound good, the story sounds good, but the writing is just not engaging, and not, it doesn't like draw you in. And this book, it does exactly that. It completely draws you in with its beautiful writing. It's so poetic and so perfect for the theme of the book. It's incredible. Like I said, the story itself is beautiful. It's one of those books that just make your eyes sparkle with wonder. It's one of those books that just makes you think about things that sometimes you don't stop to think about: beauty, and just elusiveness, and just obviously magic, and all those things that are so supernatural to us. And that is something that I really love about this book, is that it's very deep. Also, it's the kind of book that moves you. And I love that about a book. Obviously I enjoy a good story, but when the book gets more to your personal side, is also something that is very valuable. Um, Another thing that I want to point out that I loved were the characters. The characters in this book are so loving, so endearing. and just so relatable in a way. It's the kind of characters that after you read the book, you will always remember. It's almost as if you knew them, almost as if you're there with them, you feel compassion towards them, you feel identified, and that is so beautiful. The characters here are so incredible. Like, they go through a lot of things together, and they just show a lot of themselves, and I'm not gonna get too much into detail, but the characters are incredible. And I think the one of the things that I most like about this book, and it is another character, that is the unicorn herself. Now, this character is probably one of the best characters I've ever encountered in all my years of reading. Peter S. Beagle created magic with the unicorn. He literally just like sprinkled some magic into the book and created this unicorn. It's incredible, impeccable. Um, I have studied unicorns for a lot of years. I have a lot of books on unicorns and about like, the history of unicorns and all those things. And unicorns nowadays sadly are very, how do I say this, very stereotyped, like a lot of other fantasy creatures like fairies and mermaids and stuff like that, and vampires, all those things. Unfortunately, that's what the what happens sometimes when they get popular and people start like making stereotypes out of them. Um, but Peter S. Beagle clearly knows his folklore and his magic, because he didn't just take a horse with a horn and put it in a book and named it the Last Unicorn. No, no, no. He created an entity in itself. He created, like I said, magic. The unicorn is so beautiful yet so mysterious, so ethereal, so kind of confusing, so unhuman. That's what I like most about it. He didn't just take an animal and put animal traits in it. No, he created, like I said, an entity on its own. It's its own thing, its own creature, its own. It's incredible. Like I said, it's so supernatural the way that the unicorn is, and the way there's some parts in the book which I'm not going to spoil, obviously, but there's an important change, so to say, in the book, where it's important, and in the case of the unicorn, and even though the change happens, is like the unicorn just does never loses her essence. And there are some other parts where that's kind of like, but I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, that being said, the unicorn is definitely one of the highlights. It's such a beautiful creation by Peter S. Beagle, absolutely genius, very authentic, very true to the lore, and to the scriptures about unicorns, and very, very original, very authentic, and just very, very incredible, very beautiful, and just very supernatural, and confusing, but luring, and just so amazing at the same time. That I don't think I can say explain it better than that, without giving away too much. But yeah. So things that I didn't like about this book, nothing. Absolutely, I liked everything. To be honest, I cannot find a flaw in this book. I would say that this is. I know that that's perfect. Some people say that doesn't exist, but I would say that this is, for me, obviously, my opinion is a perfect book. But like I said, these are opinion-based reviews, so um, yeah, I cannot find a flaw on this book at all. Like at all, everything about it was is perfect. Um, who would I recommend this to? Everyone, literally everyone, because it's not, obviously it's a fantasy book, and maybe if you don't like fantasy, maybe like you won't appreciate it as much, but it's not only fantasy, it's a book that evokes beauty, evokes a lot of feelings, a lot of thoughts. You know, it's a provocative book. It's a very, how do I explain it? And it evokes a lot of like thought and a lot of feeling. So obviously, I would recommend this if you want to read an amazing fantasy book that is a little bit different from the traditional. Of course, there are traditional elements in there, but it's a very original fantasy book, and not only a book that has a good story, but beautiful writing, memorable characters, incredible scenery, and feelings, a lot of feeling, then give The Last Unicorn a try. You won't regret it. It's incredible. Um, so yeah, I would recommend this book to pretty much anyone, especially if you love fantasy, read it. If you're trying to get into fantasy, read it anyways. If you don't like fantasy that much, I think this book will make you change your mind. So my rating for this book is obviously 5 out of 5 stars because obviously it's incredible. And yeah, so those are my thoughts and opinion about the book. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? What was your favorite thing about the book? Did you dislike anything about the book? Did you disagree with me in some parts? Did you agree with me? Did you watch the movie? I personally have not watched the movie because I just don't like movies. I don't watch movies at all, especially when they're book related. I rather stick to the book and just leave the movie aside. But have you seen the movie? Have you read the book and seen the movie? Does the movie compare to the book, or is it just sad compared to it? Yeah, leave comments down below. Let's discuss about the book. Let's talk about it. And I want to hear your opinion on the book, and I want to see if you loved it as much as I did. So, this is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe and join me on my fantasy journey. I'll see you guys on my next review. Bye!